farmyard friends. Today we are going to be showing you guys how to prune tomatoes. It's very simple, and yeah, let's get into the video. So this is going to be a struggle because I've let them go entirely too long, which is my fault. I know. So the way that I prune is something that I saw from somebody on Instagram. I believe she has a YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure she does. If I can find it, I will link it below. And yes, but she only pruned off leaves. She let a bunch of suckers go because the leaves were not important, and you get more leaves with suckers anyways. So once I get them situated in a good area, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to prune off leaves. I want to start from the bottom, and I'm not going to be able to because of how these are, but I can't even see my fruit right now, so it needs to be done now rather than later. When pruning tomatoes, it actually improves their yields, and it keeps them more disease free because they get good airflow this way. They're tied up, everything's looking great on them. So if you can tie them up or you can cut them, either way, I would recommend doing it. It's the easiest way to do things, and it keeps them disease free for longer. And when I say cut off all the leaves, I'm not saying cut off every single leaf branch, and I will get a close-up video of me doing this in just a second. I don't mean cut off all of these. I mean cut off anything from the bottom and let the top 2 or 3 feet continue going, and then as it continues growing, continue snipping and leaving that 2 to 3 feet because it's easier that way. These guys will need to be staked up in just a moment. I just need to find all of the branches and get them tied up. This is going to be a little bit of a task. I might need help with this. I accidentally pruned off a sucker with this. So with this sucker, I'm going to take it inside, put it in a glass of water, let it sit for a few weeks. I am going to label the jar so I know which variety it is, which it's not that important to me after now, but you can sit it in a jar, wait for roots to develop, transplant it into a cup with soil, let it continue developing that way. That is a good learning opportunity, and especially if you didn't plant enough plants or you wanted a little bit later harvest with some, that's a great way to do it, and you don't have to start anything inside. Tomato suckers aren't bad. They always tell you cut off the tomato suckers, cut off the tomato suckers, cut them off, cut them off. I challenge that, I really do. Don't cut off the tomato suckers. You aren't getting anything from more leaves. You don't get any more tomatoes from that. You get more tomatoes when you have a sucker because it's allowing more things to sprout out. So I keep suckers. I let 4 or 5 I let the main stalk go, and then 3 or 4 others go. And it's so wonderful. You get so many more tomatoes this way. I've tried it. I didn't do a video on it, but I have tried it, and it works so much better. So challenge the rules, guys. Challenge them. And they might shock a little bit after a big pruning like this, but in my experience they haven't. Just give them enough water and they'll recover quite quickly. I don't want to give them water yet. I want to finish pruning first, and I have a little bit more time until the sun hits. It is going to rain tomorrow, but I am going to go ahead and water today because I would rather do that and make sure they have what they need. What I did was I did not prune my determinate tomatoes, which means that they get to a certain height, they produce a certain number of fruits, and they're done. Because they only get to a certain height and they only produce a certain number of fruits. So what I did was I only did it on my indeterminate varieties, and that's what I'm continuing to do this year. Last year it was a success, so this year I'm going to continue doing that. I might prune off some of my determinates, but I need to research further and then share my findings here. And I'm not trying to tell anybody that they need to prune this way. This is just the way that I prune, so I wanted to share that in case people didn't know how to prune tomatoes. I wanted them to know that you can do it anyway. It's not just this sort of way or whatever, it's anyway. And I'm not shaming anybody if they don't do their tomatoes like this, or if they do, fine. Or if you want to try this, try it. Maybe try a few and see, do an experiment. Those are always fun to do. So I'm not shaming anybody if you do not do your tomatoes like this. Everybody has preferred ways to garden. This is just my preferred way because it's the only way that I've done, really, but it's also worked. If it didn't work, I would have tried a different way, but it worked. And if it works, why are you gonna try to switch up? I mean, yeah, you can try different ways. Like next year I might try different ways to prune or something like that and just do an experiment. And if one gives me more than the other one, we'll do the experiment again the next year and see if it was just a fluke that year, or see what happened. And if I can do it again, I'll do it again. And when I'm pruning, and when anybody's pruning, I would actually suggest cutting off anything that is not doing well. Obviously, if it's not doing well, cut it off. You could try to fix it, but you also don't want to risk it spreading to all of your other plants and you losing more of a harvest than just like a part of a plant. Right here, as you can see, there are tomatoes, obviously. But right here, this stem that's going up into a leaf is just a leaf. Nothing's gonna grow from it. But this sucker right here, the little bit right there, that will grow into a larger stem and actually produce tomatoes. Same thing with this main stalk right here. So I'm going to cut that, take it out, move it along. So I will actually cut out the leaves. That's what I was doing in the other video. Just cutting leaves and leaving this little bit on the crown, and they actually do well. Now you don't need to leave every single sucker because that's going to get to be a wild mess. But what you can do is let 2 or 3 go and improve your yields significantly. Yeah, that's how I prune my tomatoes. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.